Morning glory, evening grace, brother and sister. Glad to have everybody back on with us here with our Temperance Awakening. And today we'll be looking at our 17th lecture, and in day 10 of our quit, I'm going to be looking at changing your routine. Changing your routine. And in addition to environmental and emotional cues, part of the challenge of quitting has to do with our routines. A routine, sometimes called a behavior chain, is any series of actions or habits that we do frequently, automatically, and in a particular order. A typical behavior chain for someone who vapes might be to come home from work, grab a snack from the fridge, turn on the TV, sit down and vape. Each activity forms a link in the behavior chain and points to the end result of vaping. One gentleman who also did this program turned one of his vaping routines into a hobby. After coming home from work every day, he mixed different flavors of vape juice like a mad scientist. It was nuts, but that was my routine, he said. Get off work, experiment with mixing juices, vape them like crazy. And the problem with this routine is that it got all consuming, just like tobacco and like vaping often does for people. He wasn't spending any time with his wife or kids. He said, honestly, this obsession was wrecking his family life. And ultimately, he had to create new, healthier after-work activities, like helping his wife around the house, doing stuff with his children, basically substituting family things for a really unhealthy and stupid hobby, his quote. And so to change that negative routine, you have to shake things up with other chain-breaking activities. Like to usually eat lunch at your desk and then head outside to vape. Maybe have lunch in the cafeteria with co-workers or other students and then, walk with them back to your desk. Do you like to vape before cooking dinner? Maybe chat with a friend or spend time with your kids instead. Not only will you avoid vaping, but you'll focus on why you wanted to quit in the first place, which is what we highly recommend. Find a good, meaningful, wholesome hobby. I would just change everything wholeheartedly. Whenever you put down vaping, do some things that are more wholesome. Do more wholesome activities and hobbies. And here's some simple ways that you can break that behavior chain of vaping. And on waking up, maybe take a shower right away. Because a lot of people, as soon as they wake up, they want to vape, like nicotine addicts, if that's vaping, or if that was a person that was, smoking cigarettes or using smokeless tobacco, that's usually what they go for right away upon waking up. But upon waking up, though, maybe take a shower right away. And then, whenever you have, coffee, tea, milk, or juice, whatever you have in the morning, maybe change up what you drink, or if you're a person that, doesn't want to change that, like I know a lot of people, especially that morning beverage, if that's coffee or tea or, juice or whatever, that's what they still want to have. But that's fine, you can still drink the same beverage, but maybe change where you drink it. Maybe go in a different room, or if your wife and kids are there, maybe sit down with your wife and or your kids, at a breakfast table, and sip coffee, tea, or juice or whatever. Or if you live alone, certainly rather than vaping, read a book, person of faith, pick up the Bible, and read that, read a devotional of some kind. Then maybe at your desk, reorganize your desk or its location if you can. Rather than vaping, fidget with something like a stress ball or a finger spinner or something like that. Or if you can, maybe have a radio or something on the internet going. Then after meals, because that's also often the time when people would go for vaping, maybe rather than vaping, drink water, brush your teeth, or, go for a walk or a bike ride. And then after work, maybe exercise or meditate, maybe have a time of prayer, a time of devotion. Kind of like we were saying there, maybe pursue a creative project or a hobby. Maybe go somewhere else, go to a bookstore or something of that nature. Or read a newspaper or a magazine. Or, play a board game, with your kids or something. Then before dinner, maybe eat earlier or later if possible. You know, because change up your routine will really, you know, knock off, you know, that vaping urge a lot. Like maybe like if you often cook at home, maybe like I'm certainly not going to ask somebody to do that all the time, but maybe you could eat out or order in, like occasionally order food, or like if you're a person, you know, that eats out or orders, you know, like take home food a lot, maybe you could cook at home, just change up that routine a little bit. And then like if you're a person that like a lot of people do, you know, that has like a snack or a drink, you know, after dinner, like coffee or tea or, you know, milk or something another like that. Like same scenarios we said kind of in the morning, you know, maybe you could have that like in a different room, or also read a book, you know, while you're drinking it. And then, you know, just kind of while thinking or something another, while relaxing throughout the day, practice H2M. You know, deep breathe, you know, maybe deep breathe, breathe deeply, like pray, you know, pray, read the Bible, read a devotional book of some time, or stretch, maybe do a little in-home exercise. And as a reward, you know, have a healthy snack, you know, such as a handful of peanuts or some fruit or something. And then like we said before, if you can, avoid vapors all that you can, but I know that can be difficult. Like if you have, you know, you're just around relatives or people at work or whatever that do that, maybe you could chew gum or drink water. And then kind of like late at night, you know, while reading or just, you know, like watching a movie or something, maybe you could rearrange the furniture, you know, organize paperwork, fidget with a stress ball, or do some stretches. Or like talk to your wife, you know, talk to your kids. Then like, you know, also maybe before bed, you know, rather than vaping, like have a cup of herbal tea or some decaf coffee or like a glass of milk, chocolate milk or something. Now once again, you know, read a book, you know, read the Bible or something, you know, chat with somebody on your quit team, chat with your wife or kids. And so there's some things, you know, just some ideas, you know, that might help you change your normal routine. To also to help prevent, you know, vaping. Maybe also change some normal travel routes. Like if you're a person that goes by vape shops, you know, like whenever you drive, like to work, or, you know, like taking kids to school, like whatever activities, you know, maybe go a different route, you know, like if there's somewhere you go to vape, maybe go somewhere else instead. You know, use different exits and entrances and avoid places where other people regularly vape. You know, spend as much of your free time as possible in places like where vaping isn't allowed. You know, like if you see like vaping ads, you know, like on the internet or something another, you know, close them quickly. And you can certainly break that behavior chain by undertaking and maybe by taking like an incompatible activity with vaping, you know, like biking or, you know, like exercising. You know, like we said, spending time with your kids, you know, playing a board game with your wife or kids. It'll be harder to vape, you know, certainly while exercising or riding a bike, but especially, you know, if you're there, like with your kids, you know, like you're your spouse, you know, and they probably don't really, you know, approve of your vaping, don't want to be around that. So, you know, that'll be much more difficult to vape. So, you know, try to have some of these hobbies, you know, readily available. You don't have to be very complex. You know, you can keep them simple. You know, and just changing that routine can avoid the trigger altogether. You know, that's really part of the psychological aspect. You know, breaking the chain can really, you know, overwhelm that trigger to want to vape. So eliminate, you know, self-destructive routines and replace them with good habits. That'll certainly help you defeat your cravings and increase your chances of quitting successfully. And so now real quick, we'll do our teen talk to our parents here, like of young people. And this one is called Shake It Up. So kids need routines to help them navigate the world, so changing them can feel disruptive and prove harder to accomplish than for adults. It's also more difficult to get teenagers to adopt good new habits. And so as usual, you know, incentives and rewards will certainly help. Like if you're still struggling, you know, have your child focus on how his or her vaping routines have made life worse. You know, and then like in a calm, rational, you know, non-judgmental way and tone. You know, ask them, how much time do you spend vaping every day? What else would you rather do with that time? You know, how much money do you spend on vaping? What else would you rather buy with it? Why can't you do any more that you used to enjoy? And help them see for themselves that their vaping routines are changing their lives, you know, and in negative ways, and that they have other options. And so with our assignments here, we only have really one new thing to add in our quick kit, which we'll go to that in just a moment. But just a couple of other things to mention first, things that, we should have been doing every day. Do your visualization exercises, keep doing those. And also, practice hand to mouth, at least to some extent. And now, kind of in our quick kit, we're going to identify some other routines that culminate in vaping and replace them with some new habits. So, simply call it change your routine. And so just a couple of questions here. What 3 routines automatically prompt you to vape? And if you can get 3, try to think of at least 3, write down 3 if you can. If there's more, certainly write those down. What routine is there? Like in the morning, drinking coffee or juice, after you eat a meal, whatever, after work, after school, write those down. And then what are some good habits that can replace them? So what are some good habits that can replace vaping? And so tomorrow, with day 11, we're going to be looking at exercise or quit. And so continue to come on back and be there. And like I said, do the exercises and everything there. And we're there. Our email address is there to contact us if we can help you in any way. So thank you so much for being with us today. And we'll see you tomorrow with day 11. And we'll see you then. Until that ever can the shadows flee away. I'm Dr. Cooper and I love you and I appreciate you.